Welcome to the Thursday Night 9, your weekly hangout with the Amateur Players Tour. Join hosts Matt Mender and Matt Fegley as they dive into recaps, rules, and what's coming up next across the tour. It's by the players, for the players, and it all starts right now, live on the Thursday Night 9.
What's up, Matty? Jody, how are you doing, buddy? It's good to see you guys.
Man, I don't even get like intro credits.
I know. Well,
How far I've fallen.
That's why you have a very appropriate name or title today.
He's coming home. We're happy to have you back.
Miss one Thursday Night Live or like 40 of them, and next thing you know, they forget you even exist.
You know, it happens.
Matt just rolls off the tongue a little bit better, man. It's all good.
There's a thing about Matt's.
Something like that. So
Google it, you'll understand.
But anyway, so we're hanging out. We're back. Myrtle Beach Holiday Classic last major of 2025. The team is home for a couple weeks. I know Chris is not disappointed about that as he's sitting in the backstage tonight. But lots of fun things. Ann Briar's open for registration. That's one of the most popular events of the summer, 160 players every year. That one goes pretty quick in St. Louis. Great golf course there. We're talking about Flight Flex. We have a lot of questions coming in about Flight Flex. That's one of the new and exciting rules for 2026 that's going to benefit our players. And we're talking a little bit about a survey that got sent out today with some interesting feedback to talk through. So lots of fun.
Absolutely.
Where you want to start?
Well, I mean, Ann Briar's up, so that's exciting. You can't be disappointed there. I mean, I might play that golf course one of these days. I don't know if this year it's going to fit into the schedule. But
Have you seriously never played Ann Briar?
no, you've never made it.
Wow.
So you got already a good question. Friday event. What are you doing at Ann Briar?
So we're working through it, but I will tell you we had a little scheduling change with Ann Briar.
Playing Bill Reeve on Friday.
Yeah, right. There's going to be a Monday event after. So there's Monday after the major event at Gateway National that'll be posted. And so we're kind of working through the Friday event and seeing, if y'all tell me in the chat that we should do a 4-event day weekend, I'm completely fine doing it. But it may just be practice rounds on Friday. We'll see. I'm working through with Ann Briar, seeing what's going on. But there's going to be a Monday after the major event at Gateway National, which Ann Briar is hands down the number one public golf course in the St. Louis area. Gateway is, in my opinion, hands down the number 2 best public golf course in St. Louis. And so 2 really, really good golf courses. It's going to be a great weekend at the birthplace of the APT.
That's right.
So always a great weekend. And second week of June is usually a really beautiful time to be in the Midwest. And so looking forward to it.
Sweet. I just figured, we got a question right off the get-go. You might as well just jump in and
well, and it's filling up. People are getting signed up. So they learned from Red Rock.
Yeah. Right.
So this one's not going in 49 minutes, guys. I promise. I hope.
No.
If it doesn't,
It'd be kind of cool if it did, though.
it would be. I'd be like, sorry, not sorry. I guess we'll have a Friday event for over.
I'll tell you what, if it sells out in 49 minutes, we'll add Bill Reeve on Friday.
There you go.
I know a guy.
We'll find a way.
No, it may only be like 6 of us playing, but
I'll tell you this: if it sells out in 49 minutes, we'll draw 2 names that want to come play Bella Reeve with me and my friend on that Friday. We can make that happen.
There you go.
So call your friends. I get 2 groups if we need.
You see how we just got left out, man.
Well,
and my friend, one singular, as if he has one of those.
I already made it open that I probably will not be in attendance. So,
I should listen to him.
He just hates Ann Briar.
Wow. It's not cool.
I mean, Jody, I appreciate, we always got to bust out whatever mug we're drinking from. So you got the Ole Miss mug today. Getting excited.
Yeah, playoffs Saturday.
Yep. Oh, wait. It's Thursday. Yeah, Saturday. Well, it starts tomorrow with the Oklahoma game, and then
Yeah, Alabama and Oklahoma.
I've got the Circle K.
you got the Circle K warm coffee sponsorship opportunity. Let's go.
We know. So
Strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
it is the Midwest, buddy. We try not to talk about some of those things.
It's the Midwest and Illinois. You don't want to talk about playoff football.
Ooh,
I get it.
ooh.
Wow. I'm just staying out of that.
The Bears
Staying
might
out
end
of
up, it's been a while.
Did you see the press release today? The Bears are looking to build their stadium now in Northwest Indiana.
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
where dreams go to die.
I was gonna say, I'm like, if they said like South Bend, I would get it, but Gary, Indiana, I don't know. So I just laugh. I stay out of that. So although Decatur, Illinois, where our office is, the original home of the Chicago Bears
There
Hey,
back in the day. So
maybe they should move back.
Bring it back. Isom's like, bring it back. Let's go.
they'll have some fun. It'd be interesting, to
Right?
say the least. But yeah, Ann Briar's open for registration. It's going to be a great time.
If it sells out before we sign off, we're playing Belle Reve on Friday.
There you go.
Fun. I can make that happen if you want to do that. So
There you go.
got to make a couple phone calls and we can make that happen for you. So
I mean, we can play. It's just going to be expensive.
Exactly.
well, let's talk a little bit Myrtle Beach Holiday Classic. Dan Constantino getting in the winner's circle in Division One. Dude, how good was Caledonia's golf course on Saturday? That place was spectacular and good.
Yes. It is always good to be back. And it was in great shape, and the weather was
Perfect.
really good on Saturday. For half the round on Sunday, it was also really good.
Yeah.
But then, as Miner pointed out, I do look a little warmer today because I think I grabbed when I was doing one of my last laps around the golf course, I think I was wearing everything I could find.
We dodge the frost delays.
Yes,
So that's the biggest positive, I think, of the whole deal.
exactly.
You know, you're not racing daylight to get done at the end because there was an hour frost delay in the beginning.
It was.
That is very true. But man, the greens were real good at Caledonia. It was interesting because a lot of times here at Caledonia, the greens are kind of medium to medium fast. These things were slick. I was watching people hit it 10, 12 feet by, and it was not downhill putts. I was like, oh, hello.
Yeah.
So
3 putts aplenty.
3 putts aplenty. It was quite interesting. True Blue's always really good. I think that's a fun golf course to play. And a lot of good play. Like Constantino had a little bit of a rules situation in D2. Want to give a shout out to everybody involved.
Mhm.
Had an improper drop. Everybody handled it with a lot of class. So you want to go through the rule, Fegley. This is a good thing to talk about. You're the rules guy.
All right.
Was somebody having trouble identifying which duck to play from?
No, we put out custom markers on every tee at Caledonia.
Now that would have been tough. No, the mallard is the one with the green head. And
This is the test, guys. Forget the rules test. Do you know what a pintail is? Can we put a pintail
That's right.
mallard up and let's figure it out?
Exactly.
Come on, the pintail. Everybody knows just hit from the pintail.
It is pretty cool. They had a flag in the pro shop that had all the ducks on it. It's pretty sweet. But anyhow,
Right.
the main thing is we had a little issue with yellow penalty areas. So the big thing to remember from the yellow is you don't get the lateral relief. You have to essentially, the easiest way that I've learned to remember it is you have to go over the yellow area. If it is a situation where you do see a yellow line, you got to traverse or execute getting over that particular penalty area. I do appreciate the fact you're going to bust out the rule book.
Rule
So
17, by the way, if you're following along.
what had occurred was basically took the lateral drop off of where the ball had last crossed before going in the water, instead of using the drop zone area. So that's what got it into trouble, because those two shots were completely different and very the correct drop would have resulted in a much more difficult shot. That's why we were stuck with the disqualification. But since you got the rules in front of us, let's roll.
I do. Well, so I love how they changed because it used to be that there were 4 options for red, 3 options for yellow. Now it's 3 for a red, 2 for a yellow. And it's 2 if you take relief. You can always play the ball as it lies,
Correct.
which was option number 1 in the old days. But in yellow, you got 2 options. First is taking stroke and distance relief by playing a ball
From
where
previous.
the previous stroke was made. 2 is take back on line relief, which means the point your ball last crossed the penalty area, you take the flag stick in that point and draw a line, and you go as far back on that line as you want. And then if there are drop zones in play, which is a local rule, you can use the drop zone as an additional option. Red penalty area gets you option 1 and 2, so you get back on line relief. You can play from where you last played, but you can also take lateral relief 2 club lengths, no closer to the hole from the point where it last crossed.
Yep.
So, Den said glad he didn't play Monday. Guys, when it's minus 20 in Chicago, it's going to be cold across the country. It was historic on that Monday. It was quite interesting. So,
Hey, before you leave that rule real quick, because the one thing I see that gets confused by amateur players more than anything is the going back on the line drop, because I see guys go up to where the point of entry was and then they just walk back 20, 30 yards in the fairway, and they're like, yeah, I'm going back on a line. So explain that, just so that people watching that aren't quite sure how that rule is applied, they understand next time if they have to use it.
correct. And so you take the point where the ball last crossed the margin of the penalty area, which is, so usually it doesn't clear the penalty area. And so that point that last crossed is a very singular point. So if you walk up to that singular point, you find the flag stick of the hole, you draw a line straight through, and it extends back as far as you want between the flag stick and the point. A lot of people think it's the point you hit the ball and they draw that line, which is not correct. It is
Right.
when you get to that point, look at the flag stick, draw a line straight back.
So just to give you a visual, if you find yourself in the fairway, which most of us don't, and you pull a Fegley and hit the El Jose dead right into the water.
That's going to be a good segue to talking about the survey.
And so your point of entry is 20 yards in the rough. You go to your point of entry, and at this point, you don't get to go back on the line back into the fairway. You have to draw that line with the flag where it crossed into the hazard, and which is probably going to put you dropping in the woods.
Right.
The farther back you go, the farther into the woods you're going to go. So just be careful on that you don't think that you're using that rule the right way and then ending up costing yourself even more trouble when you go into scoring and you find out that you've actually taken an incorrect drop.
Right. So, and the other thing is, especially when you're in contention in a tournament, if you're unsure of what the rule is, play 2 balls. It never hurts you to play 2 balls.
Dos
And that-
huevos.
And that brings up an important point that we always talk about is play 2 balls. There is not a situation in golf where you will get yourself in trouble if you play from the previous position, which is known as stroke is distance, right? So if you're ever in that situation, you're not sure what to do. You're like, I don't know if I can use the drop zone. I don't know what I can do, but I know I can't do X or Y.
Yes.
Go back to the previous spot and play again, hopefully executing on the shot, and in this particular case, hitting it on the green 2-putt and get out of there. Then we would have been able to rule that no, the drop was incorrect. You did play from the previous spot. The 5 stands or 6 or whatever you made and move on. So
and that's always the option, right? You always have the option to drop and hit right there where you stand. Because I've seen that discussion happen before too, where somebody says, "Well, I'm just going to drop one right here," and then the playing partner says, "No, you have to go up there and take the drop up there where it went in."
yeah.
No, you don't. You always have the option to re-hit from the exact shot where you were.
Right.
Just so.
Well, and I think one of the things that you guys will see coming in the next month or so, some of you on here may want to, send some Facebook messages to some different people. But Matt and I are going to run some rules seminars leading into the spring season. We're going to invite all the members to. We'll cover basic rules, intermediate rules, and different opportunities to be able to take advantage of that. So I'm actually going. I know both of us. For those that don't know, both of us are attending USGA rules seminars and doing all the testing and all the fun. And so we're both in the process of cramming right now. So if there's a quiz
I think
on
it's important to answer Rodney's question. Does that rule book have pictures? And the answer is yes, Rodney. That is a USGA rules for dummies that Matt is using. So
wow. This is the regular rules of golf,
look,
man.
we all know that you took the original cover off and taped that to the front just so it looked like a regular rule.
I mean, completely fine. Get it right, you get it right. It is what it is.
That's funny.
And then another good question, Rodney, is like, when playing a second ball, does it have to be a different number? No.
It just has to be identifiably different.
Correct.
So when you play two balls, there's a couple things. Number one, you have to declare which ball you intend to score. So you have to pick, say, I think doing it this way is right. This is the ball I intend to score. You have to play both balls out through the hole. And then you've got to report it to the committee at the end, regardless if it's the same score or not. Those are the rules of it. The other thing to talk about, this interesting situation led to a DQ in Division II, and this will be plain as day because I had a couple questions about it. So a lot of people asked why didn't he get disqualified from the senior net? So one of the little known things that people don't know necessarily about our net competitions is Division 3 through 5 have triple bogey max, and in the net competitions, we apply that. The computer applies that to all divisions for the net contest. So the worst anybody can take is net or a triple bogey in those competitions. So if you're in Division 2 and you take a 13, it'll just be a triple for net purposes. So there we go.
I thought you just let people that you DQ play and stay and win the net game stuff because you have your favorites.
Sure. I mean, I've been accused of worse, so no. And so, but I think it's important to talk about in the DQ situation is if the DQ is not for something that's egregious, and we do this in Division 3 through 5 all the time. We are a tour that's about player development, and part of being in D3 through 5 is learning the rules, and there are things that potentially lead to a DQ with a triple bogey max. If it's not cheating oriented, and you do something that would get you DQ'd, like, for example, taking a wrong drop that you unfortunately have to deal with in D1 and D2. In D3 through 5, you get a triple and you move on. If it's egregious, like cheating or integrity, we'll just disqualify you and send you home.
Yeah.
So we apply the same thing in the net game. So since it was because it was an honest rules mistake, in all honesty, the group had discussed it and they just got the ruling wrong. We certainly applied a triple to the hole from a net competition purpose and moved on, which is what we did. So if anybody had that question, I know I fielded a couple of phone calls this week, which we always appreciate coming in. That's why.
Yep. And then Cody also brought up the situation. And as soon as we finished, he had a situation with a tree and a cart path, and he was able to get relief. It was kind of a little similar to like people were talking about the USGA stuff that got posted this week. It was similar to that in basically taking a club length and giving yourself a little bit of a better angle, which, hey, you got lucky that time. But as soon as we drove away, I was like, Chris, it would have been a perfect time to bust out the phone and be like, this is how you take a drop. This is what you do. This is how you mark it. Because we went through the whole process. And he had the driver out. We were putting the tees down, all the fun stuff. So, but again, we'll continue to go over that stuff. And try to continue to have some educational things that will be coming in the future.
Yeah, and there's and just throwing this out there too as we develop some of these course setups and stuff. So we've had a partnership with Strackalign for a really long time. You guys get access to 20% off all their yardage and greens books. Well, they just released a software that's going to allow us to take a much deeper dive at course setup before we ever get to the golf course, which is going to allow us to spend a lot more time and just making sure everything is where it needs to be. So we're excited for the future there. Strackaline's an awesome partner. But we'll transition into, we sent out a survey today to members. Yep. 657 responses came in the first 4 hours, so that's exciting. Still propagating the rest, but we asked 4 questions, and I got probably 40 emails asking, why are you asking these questions? And so it's kind of fun when we can talk through it a little bit. We have a potential partner. We'll leave them unnamed for now, you think?
It's fair.
It's fair. We'll probably have them on in a couple of weeks. I was actually really shocked. I was surprised by the results, but all 3 of us have been through the assessment that we're talking about. So for those quickly that may not have got the email today, we asked about a assessment that covers things like physical skills, mental toughness, and golfing skills. That gives an assessment out of 100 if you would see value in that to, number one, be able to know kind of where your game is and what you need to work on for practice, but 2, as an additional data point for making sure people are in the correct divisions. Mm-hmm. So we'll get into the results a little bit. Encouraging results. I thought it was really interesting. But you guys, we've all been through the assessment. What was kind of your thought? I know Jody said that Fegley scored a pretty high score, and he had a couple El Jose's during the assessment that was quite entertaining.
Yes. The high fade was not exactly the high fade.
No, it was a
low right.
It was a low straight right.
I'll never forget. I looked at the coach that was taking you through it, and I was like, "Does he get an extra point for hitting it off the hosel? Because it's much harder to hit the hosel than it is the center of the face."
It's a little spot right there on the end of the club.
Yeah, the next head cover we get him will say Ja Rule on it.
And the best part, Travis's comments in question 1 was strange. It's kind of funny. I've had to alter a little bit of the results of question 1 because like 30 people have texted me and said, "Hey, I selected option 1 and I didn't read it right and I didn't feel that way," but that's fine. It's all good. And we didn't write the questions. Our partner wrote the questions. We just approved them. I remember reading through the response, and I understand where you're coming from. But what was kind of your takeaway, Jody, from the assessment? I know you got to kind of see it for the first time. I know I've been around it for quite a few months. So,
yeah, the golf side of it is the easiest part. Just to let everybody know what we're talking about, this assessment that's been done has been developed over years, and it's been in play at a golf school that has produced really, really good players, works with folks from the high-ranking juniors all the way up to PGA professionals. And so this system that they've got developed looks at all 3 phases, both your golf skills, and gives you a score as you go through these series of tests, and then your physical skills or physical ability based on different movements and flexibility and strength and explosiveness and that sort of thing. And then finally, there's the mental component, which, I'm sure the 3 of us here probably could spend way more time in that area than just a few minutes at the end answering some questions. So, but the golf side of it is, pretty straightforward. We were hitting in a bay, and I think all of this has to be done on screen where you're having launch monitor measuring the shots and the results of what you're doing, and essentially you have an instructor there that gives you cues as to what shot that you need to hit. 9 different, is that right? No, 6 different windows.
That
No,
was
9
nine.
different
Nine
9
different
different windows. You have the high fade, the high draw, the middle fade and draw, the low fade and draw, and then the worst part, the high, middle, and low straight ball,
Yes.
which is hard.
Far the hardest
Hard
one
for
to-
those of us that grew up shaping the golf ball. And so now here's the fun part of this. Most of us when we go practice, and I use that term loosely, we take a bucket of balls to the range or 2 buckets and we go down there and we just slap balls around. We're not really thinking about specific shots or anything. Maybe we're working on a feel, or we're just trying to find the center of the face or something along those lines. Or maybe there's one specific club we're trying to work on, whether it's driver or something like that. So this test that you go through with this program really tests all aspects of the game, and you're given one shot. So it's not like you sit there and go, all right, hit six draws and 6 fades,
Right.
and you get to work it out until you find it and groove it. No, it's drop ball, take your 6-iron, and all right, with this shot, I want you to hit a low draw.
Mm-hmm.
And there are parameters. First you hit what do we hit? 7, 8, 10 balls, just normal stock shots to kind of set what the baseline is for ball flight and height, your normal max height of your apex of your shot with your 6-iron, that sort of thing. And so based on that, then they say, all right, here's the limits of what you have to be able to hit. When I say a low draw, here's the height limit, and it has to curve at least 3 feet or 3 yards and then land within 10 yards of the target line. And so, and then based on your ability, you get points. So either a half point, full point, something like that. And then all of this collectively goes together to give you a score that hopefully if you do this periodically throughout the year, it gives you an indication of whether you've improved in the areas that you were struggling with. So the first time you go through it, you're going to get a score that's going to give you a list of things that you need to be working on, whether that's golf things you need to be working on, physical things you need to be working on, or mental aspects that you can do better at. And then if you go through the program again 6 months down the road or 3 months down the road or whatever it may be, the case may be, then you're going to get some feedback to say, okay, you have improved in these areas, but here's something else that you need to start working on.
Yep.
Right. No, and I think it's a really interesting program. I thought it was telling for all of us that went through it. I went through it a few months ago. You guys went through. Physical test gives some good things about capabilities, but one of the things that I really like is you leave feeling like you have an understanding of what you need to work on. And so for those of you that might be higher handicappers that are freaking out, like, oh, I can't hit a high draw. There are half points, you know what I mean, for just seeing how you control your ball. But I think it gives a really good, I know we saw our assessments of where we are in our game. It gives a really good assessment of what your skill levels are. And so, when we ask the questions from an improvement standpoint, and they have an app that you can get to that'll give you drills and support and things to work on. And the coach guide is really good because the physical piece is like, hey, you really need to work on getting your hip flexors to be a little bit more flexible.
Right.
Or if you're in Fegley's world, he's like, man, you're really in shape for not very much club head speed. So we need to get you some lessons to teach you how to swing the club a little faster.
Exactly.
Yeah. When I'm older, fatter, and less mobile than Fegley, and I'm hitting my 6-iron 20 yards past him, then everybody's like, hold on, wait a minute, what's wrong here?
What's wrong with you? I'm like, I don't know. I'm afraid to hit the ball. I don't know. We'll figure this out.
Yeah,
that's right.
But what's interesting is you get into these questions, right? And we start talking through, and I think this says a lot about, some of what our members want to get out of tournament golf. which is really cool. So we asked the question, beyond just your handicap and tournament scores, how important is it for APT members to have a single standardized score out of 100 that objectively compares your current skill level to other competitive golfers? So 86% said moderately important to critical. So moderately important means it's better than just a handicap. Very important, helpful, data-driven reference point. That's doing math. That's about 61% said that or better. And then critical is the only way to truly know where other competitors stand. It's 27%. So a lot of people excited about the possibility of it. And then it said if a standardized assessment could give you a detailed breakdown of your game, separate scores for golf skills, physical skills, and mental toughness, how valuable would that be for knowing what to prioritize in your training? 20% said extremely valuable. I need this data to train effectively. Very important. It would help me structure my practice. And another 31%. So 51% said very important or extremely valuable. And then somewhat important, interesting data would be another 37%. So it's just 11% of people are like, yeah, it's not important. I just rely on my coach. So really interesting data on that. And then what I thought was interesting, if there was an APT approved objective measurement tool incorporated into creating competitively balanced divisions, how willing would you be to go through the assessment? So 89% of you said you're eager or willing to go through the assessment. So out of 657 responses, 18 people said they wouldn't do it.
It's pretty good.
Not just people.
There's always those that are stuck in their ways, which is okay.
You touched on one of the things though, and we talked about this because we were giving Fegley a little bit of the business about his 98 mile an hour club head speed, but that's also part of this, right? So if you're a Division II player and you're in moderately decent shape and middle of the road age wise, and you're not able to hit the ball as far, or you're hitting it 2 clubs less than everybody else with your irons, one of the issues may just be a strength issue. It may be a flexibility issue. It may be the fact that your body just doesn't allow you to get in a position that you need to get in order to generate that kind of club head speed. But you don't know that because you don't have a trainer.
Right.
We're not Rory and Scotty. We don't have a personal trainer that follows us everywhere we go. So this is an opportunity for those of us that have those physical limitations, but don't really know, what it is and what to do about it. Not only are you going to get the score back that says, hey, here's where you are. You're a 35 or 38 or whatever the number is. But these are the issues that you'd scored poorly in, and here's some things that you can do to work on that. So there would be an app associated with it that gives you some training and some reinforcement on how you can fix those issues and get better. And so the idea is not only are you identifying golf skills that you might be lacking in, whether that's chipping or putting or hitting a high draw, whatever the case may be, maybe that's something that you need to work on the range, but you're also getting an assessment that says physically you need to work on flexibility here or strength in your lower body or whatever the case may be. And then that gives you an extra layer of ways of improving your overall game. So,
yeah. So
we need to add. Sorry, you got me laughing. Not to eat so many.
It's quite interesting though when you look at it. We look at some of the things, and look, we know that some of you guys play our tour for social, and that's cool. Like you're not striving to get better. You're just out to play to have fun and have a good time. We're good with that. We're not gonna force you to do it to play on our tour. It's not it. But we've went a direction at the feedback of our members. One of the things that we're trying to solve, and we're looking at different ways to solve and trying to innovate continuously, is that across the board, our members hate when players get promoted at the very end of the year based on 0.2 underneath, where if you are honest, golf is not a fair game. It's not even into the handicap system. I mean, you can strike a ball from 180 yards that's an inch the wrong direction, and it costs you 3 more shots, which is 0.1 in your handicap. And so we're looking for ways to group people competitively as fair as possible. And, so this is an interesting solution. We're excited. We really like these guys. We started talking to them last year at the PGA show in January. So we're about 11 months into this. And I know there's a lot of questions coming in about it. We're not ready to fully talk about it yet. We're just asking for feedback and opinions, but it's going to be cool as we look into some of the things with forward tee approvals, or some of the things which we'll get into in the future on the Flight Flex. And it's not going to be one of those things you have to take it, but there's probably going to be a benefit for those that do, that have a score that shows you're in that one really good round. Probably will keep you from getting promoted if we have more solid data points that show you're playing in the right spot. And so we're looking for ways to continually balance competition and completely, but just continue to innovate and try to make things better. And was really excited about the response from our members today. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, more information typically is always going to be better than less. And this gives, I think it's going to be beneficial not only to the players but also to us as tour operators and chapter owners. Giving us feedback and more information and data points to be able to assess where you belong. Because one thing that we do know, the three of us have been playing forever, but we've been running this tour and working this tour for 5 years. There's no two Division II players alike, right? You can line up 200 of our Division II players, and they all have different skill sets and different things that they are good at, different things that they struggle at. But just over the course of time, their tour index puts them in that box. No two 62-year-olds are alike. We know that there are some that at 60 years old, they lose a gear, right? They've lost a cylinder. But then there are others that are still, firing on all cylinders and doing just fine. And so this gives us some additional data points to kind of assess those situations and work with those players to try to make sure that we're putting everybody in the right spot so that they are A, competitive, and B, able to continue to have fun playing on the tour.
Mm-hmm. And then we'll get to heart monitors eventually, as Rodney suggested.
AEDs on every golf cart.
There you go. That's pretty good. But one of the things, like getting back to, besides, as people trying to find a way to fit in divisions, if you're really wanting to improve, which is the vast majority, and certainly what we want to support on the tour, this is a great tool. I came through the assessment. I'm like, man, I wish I had this in high school when I was trying to get better to play in college. I would have practiced a lot differently than what I did. And I think I would have gotten a lot better. And so this is a really cool tool that's out. It's being used heavily in the college ranks now. So we've teased about it a little bit, but we're looking forward to it. We got a lot more because we're going to talk about Flight Flex. I know there's a lot of questions about that, but first, Chris lets me know we have a message from our friends at 2 Under.
2 Under. Quality fabrics, no roll waistband, Joey pouch, elevate and separate, no chafing. What more could you ask for?
That's gonna be everybody in about 2 to 3 weeks, right? We're all getting on the treadmill in January.
Right.
I'm putting all of my weight back on that I lost during the campaign. It's bad.
It happens. My wife already hired me a trainer, so January 1, we're going at it.
What's her name?
It's a dude, unfortunately.
Hey,
Sucks
the
for
wife
you.
hired him, so it makes kind of sense.
It makes perfect sense. It is what it is. Miner's talking about doing the assessment. I tried to call you. I was going to share the joke that got made about you and the assessment, Miner. It involved Fireball. It was pretty good. So
Yes.
I'm sure you could imagine what that meant. But anyways, new rule for this year. It's been really popular so far with people, but it's also created some questions. The Flight Flex. It's here.
It's here.
You want to explain it, Fegley?
It's been executed.
You're
Well,
the competition czar.
I mean, look, the easiest way to do what we like to tell, similar to utilizing Rule 20 and hitting 2 golf balls. One of our other favorite phrases is
Read the stinking member manual.
read the members manual. So
I got it here. I can explain it. It's super.
go for it, man. I mean, it's all
It's
good.
super simple. I'm trying to give you a chance to shine, man.
Oh, man.
Sitting back. I got my Circle K coffee. I've got my copy of the members manual. It doesn't have pictures in it for everybody else. Although we might have to start putting pictures in it at some point. I'm sure that would be entertaining for some of these things. The Flight Flex is super simple. We recognize that every once in a while you're going to have a good round that's going to make you temporarily dip below the handicap line. And over 5 years, we have a long list of people that we see have got stuck in the wrong division or lost a chance to compete for Player of the Year. And, in all of our player feedback, we've made a conscious decision that if Player of the Year matters, we need to find a way to keep people in their division longer. With the obvious understanding that sometimes people just get better, like Bill McMahon last year in St. Louis. I'll pick on him. He couldn't continue to play in D5 as a 13.
Right.
So, or 14 or whatever he was. But so looking at that, we've created a flex. And so there's 2 types of ways you can earn a Flight Flex. One is by how long you've played on the tour. And the other is based on how many rounds you've played within a current season. And the more you play, the more flexibility you get to have some time to work it out to see if a promotion is actually warranted. So the first Flight Flex is a season-long Flight Flex. There's 2 tiers to it. The first is members who have what we call complete tournament indexes, which means they have 20 scores posted with us, and 10 or more of those have to be within the last year. So you don't get it if you take a bunch of time off.
Right.
So if that's the case, you have a Flight Flex of 0.5 year-round. If you're in Division 3 and you're an 8.7, your handicap goes to an 8.2. That's going to trigger a 4-week review process. Super simple. If in those 4 weeks your handicap goes down farther, goes below 8, you get promoted immediately. If it stays the same after 4 weeks, you're going to get promoted. And if it goes up back into the range, you're going to stay in your division. It gives you time to work it out. The second piece of that is for players who are validated but don't meet the other requirements, either the 20 rounds or 10 or more within the last 12 months. They get a Flight Flex of 0.2. So it's a little bit, it's not a lot, but it gives you a chance if you're going to kind of in that spot where you're going to get screwed, you get a chance to play and figure out where it is. So I love Denz's question. You cannot flex into D3, my friends, but nice try.
I've been trying for 3 years.
Yeah, right. So the second we call frequent player provisions. And that is a Flight Flex that lasts from that point through the rest of the season. Gives people a chance to finish in their division. We did a ton of data studying on this last year of how this would have affected nationals, and it would not have. So just so you know. But it would have prevented a lot of people from being really mad when they got promoted with 2 weeks left to go in the season. And we won't name all those people, but if it was you, go ahead and feel free to put your name in the chat. We've probably apologized to all of you by now because we hated it as much as you did. So here's what we've done to try to address.
Might save Chris's life too when you promote somebody on the first tee before a major.
I don't know if Olu's turned it in or not. We did talk about it last weekend, though. That's my boy. So, anyways, tier 1 is at 10 or once you've played 10 or more rounds this season, you earn a 0.5 Flight Flex throughout the rest of the year. So as long as your handicap stays within a half stroke of the division line, you're good. Once you've played 15 or more rounds in the current season and you have 20 or more scores posted, you can earn the tier 2, which is up to 1 shot. And then tier 3 is 20 rounds or more in the current season. You get a 1-shot Flight Flex. And if you somehow go below that after 20 rounds, what we're going to do is we're going to look at your entire tournament index, which means if you've played 34 rounds, we're going to take half of those. So 17 of those rounds run your handicap. If your handicap's still within the division, a good example of this last year would have been Will Houston in Nashville. Will went to a 7.9 after playing 34 rounds literally the week before his local finals. But if we would have ran his entire season index, which for people that play the normal 10 to 12 rounds a year, their scores are looked at over a year period of time. The only difference between them and Will is Will's playing way more tournament rounds on the APT. So if we looked at his entire season, which we think is really a fair way to do it, he'd have been like a 9.2. But he was promoted to D2, had to go to local finals in D2 and the North American Championship in D2. And so giving people that play a lot, they're the people we know the most about their handicap, their skill level. And so giving them some flexibility. There are some exceptions. So it's good to read the member manual if you've been relegated in the past. So once you're in the flight flex, you're in the gray zone. We're going to start looking at all the other things to make sure that we're not being manipulated or there isn't something there that is going to make it unfair. So no one's guaranteed to stay in the flight flex. You are going to be under review. So if you're the dude that has a 1.4 gen and you're in the flight flex for D2, don't be surprised when we promote you because you have a 1.4 gen. It's there to help people that are going along the journey, trying to get better. We want to give you your shot at the apple because you've worked really hard for it and then send you packing to D1 at the end of the season to go take on the new challenge, which I think makes sense. But the exceptions are that we're going to look at if you've been relegated in the past. If you've been in tier 2 or tier 3 of the frequent player provision, meaning you've been saved because your handicap went more than 0.5 below the line, the second season that happens, you're not going to get to do it. So if you're protected by tier 2 or tier 3, enjoy your chance to win player of the year because next year you're going to be in the better division and you're not going back. So if you've chosen to play the forward tee, we're going to look at that differently than the players that play the open tee. If you have another handicap, USGA or tournament index is significantly below the division line. So if you've shown you've already done it elsewhere and APT is just catching up, probably not going to stay. If you have a significant layoff between tournament rounds, this is my favorite. I won't call out the people that try to do this, but if you're the guy that gets in the flight flex and doesn't play between April and September, you're getting moved in September, buddy. I hate to break it to you. We're going to watch all that stuff. And then we're also going to look at events 1 and exceptional rounds. So I know there's a player that's had a couple exceptional rounds that his handicap's catching up to him. Probably not going to matter anyway, but if you're sitting in the flight flex and you're shooting multiple exceptional rounds, you're not going to get to stay. And the funny thing is the data works out on this. The people that this would benefit are not people that are shooting exceptional rounds. I'll give you another example. Samay is another great example. If you look at her full tournament history, stayed in the Division III range all year. There's a lot of it's not people that are going out and shooting, 73s in Division III that are all those people are going to move based on our rules. The other thing is recent data bias. For example, if you've had 20 rounds but your last 10 have been really good, you're not staying. You know what I mean? And then just any data that suggests a promotion is warranted. So essentially, like once you get into the flight flex, we are paying attention. Just like we do when somebody moves the forward tee, we put them on probation. A member of our competition committee is kind of checking in each week and paying attention to scores to make sure that nothing wonky is going to happen. If you're in these flight flex provisions, we are literally monitoring every round to make sure that there's not a reason that it wouldn't be fair to leave you. Is that a safe way to say
No, it's exactly right. It's we've seen it now. I mean, for years, and it's trying to come up with a system that's going to work. And also, as Jody will attest, the good attorney clause. Any data that suggests a promotion is warranted. Like we're going to have the kind of the catch-all clause that, if there is a situation where a player
at the end of the day, you do not, and this is where lawyer clause comes in. You do not have a right to any claim to any division. We have the ultimate say and authority, and can choose to put you in whatever division that we feel, based on the information that we have, that we feel is best suited for you and the rest of the field. So, but we're going to try our best to be fair about it.
Yep. 100%. And that's the thing, right? Like Matt covered it. The big thing that's going on right now is I think we finally saw. I don't think we have a player yet that's played 10 rounds, but we do have a couple that have played 8. So that first section that we were talking about, the season long, that's the one that's like going on right now, where you get the guys that sometimes get a little hot and a little cold, and just the way the numbers roll, it's going to potentially keep them. The last one that we reviewed, that's going to be the one that's going to start coming into play as the player of the year races heat up. And again, it's all about playing rounds and getting golf in to demonstrate what your true ability is. And then we're putting in provisions that'll help, keep you in that flight or get promoted depending on what the player looks like. Again, it's a gray area. We want to do everything we can to treat everybody fairly, which is why we've outlined the guidelines. But, at the end of the day, it's going to be a tough call in some stuff.
I'll answer the fun one since John asked it.
Yeah.
I'll answer. It's really simple. In the frequent player provisions that allow somebody to sit, we're not going to let somebody sit. The forward tee, you've chosen to take a tee advantage. It's meant to have a handicap disadvantage. That's how it balances. And somebody playing the forward tee is not going to get to sit the rest of the year at 0.5 or 1 below the index line. That's going to show they're consistently better than the division they're in. And so we're not going to force them to play the open tee. They can promote themselves and play the forward tee if they want, but if they want to stay in for player of the year, you're not going to do it in a year-long flight flex playing the forward tee.
Boom. So there, John Todd.
I love John Todd. Cracks me up. But that's the reason is you've chosen, like, once again, some people need it, and the people that need the forward tee are not going to be sitting in the flight flex below
Right.
for the year long. It's just not, you know what I mean? The 4-week flight flex, totally good with that. Let it work itself out. But sitting under for a year and going, somebody's not in D3 is not going to be a 7.6 playing the forward tee every week. So,
again, I mean, everybody just needs to remember what we're trying our best to do is balance between fairness for the individual player versus the entire field, and not just the field of the tournament that they're playing in, but the field of their local chapter that they're competing against for player of the year points, or the entire club as it relates to national player of the year. So we're just trying to make sure that everybody feels like they're getting a fair shake, and it has not an equitable result, but an equal opportunity to compete.
well, and I think part of it's understanding the range and understanding how handicapping affects the 4T. And like, without getting too much in the weeds tonight, but I'll go a little bit in the weeds.
Great, here we go.
I would tell you that the most important thing in handicapping to get consistency is distance played. So, for example, Begley, you're with your driver club head speed of 108. If Begley and I go play 10 rounds from 6,600 yards, and then we go play 10 rounds from 7,200 yards, it's a difference of about 2 in slope and rating, but your scores are going to be 5 to 6 shots different from 7,200 yards because of distance. And so when you look at this with the forward tee, what it's designed to do is, number one, keep fields bigger, but also handicaps are going to be more consistent when players are playing a yardage that they can actually manage and get to par 4s and 2. You know what I mean? If you got rid of the forward tees, Mike Lingenfelter would be the most legendary D3 player of all time. You know what I mean? Like, because any time that his short game was on, he would whoop the living daylights out of everyone in D3. John Todd would be the best D2 player in history.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so it makes more sense. I'm picking on both of those guys because they're two of my best friends. So,
Of course.
but it makes sense. And so it's designed to be something, if you need it to handle the distance, to still be able to be competitive. It makes sense, but there is a disadvantage thrown into it by design.
Yep. And Osborne, Michael just got a good point too, which is like, and we touched on this, I think, on a couple other episodes before and talking about it, is that everybody does get better as the year gets on. We get more comfortable. So then it's fair. You'd like to think that, right? But again, it's the lifting as the tide rises,
Wow.
how to keep that still equitable.
Shots fired from YouTube.
Tellender's getting you. You're gonna have to come to Ambrier to show that you can hit a golf ball.
Wow.
Shots fired. That's awesome.
Flex.
180.
Oh man, but that's a good point, and again, like you said, most not all, and again, it's getting firmer. It generally gets faster in August, so
Right. Well, and I think
again,
it's important though, like when we talk about the research, like we don't typically the process is we take feedback from members and an idea. Some of the members that came up with this idea, or they don't even know they came up with the idea, but they came up with a problem.
Yep.
Are commenting tonight, and hey, I'm taking 3 weeks off because if I play well, I'm gonna get moved and everything I worked for. And like we're sitting here going, like, do we want that? Of course not.
Right.
But,
like that's the exact opposite of what we want, right?
Correct. But we also understood it because we didn't also want somebody to, you know what I mean? The last thing we want is 2 weeks before the local finals to be like, you're in your new division and thanks for playing 22 tournaments and you have no chance to win anything. Like that's not what we want to see either. And so when we started doing the research of all these players that got bumped and we looked at the difference in their tournament index from January to August, I mean, it's 2 shots.
Yeah.
At least, usually.
Yeah.
For a lot of these players. I mean, if you're Nick Krause, it was like 12. I mean, it was something stupid. Like dude had a year.
There's always those guys, right? Like
So a lot of this goes back to the original intent of Matt, you and I, when we started the tour, and the rules that we put in place is we wanted to encourage players, particularly players that were having a good year, to be able to play all the way through their local finals and play hard in their local finals trying to win instead of being worried about getting bumped right before nationals. So that was part of it. And then the whole deal with the points race where we're taking, your best 10 scores, that's all decided too, where we didn't want somebody to be able to just run away because they played 25 events and they run up this number that nobody else can beat. But at the same time, we don't want the person that gets a big lead to just stop playing.
Right.
So by taking your best 10 scores, we're trying to encourage you to keep playing as the season ends so that you stay sharp. You're still have an opportunity to win prizes, whatnot, but you also have that ability to pop a win and get a better result than what one of your 10 scoring results. So it's kind of a free shot at that point. So everything that we're doing now with the flight lock, it's all designed to keep players playing all the way through the end of the season without having any type of fear or holdback or incentive not to keep playing.
And go back to like 2015, man. Like when you and I were first getting to know each other, one of the first conversations we had driving back from a national championship before APT existed.
Right.
This was the conversation because you're like, look, man, I'm going to win my local finals. I have a 4-footer to choose whether I want to win my local finals and go to, nationals and champ flight, or do I miss it? Go to a playoff.
So yeah, the 18th green at General's Retreat at Hermitage in Nashville. Congratulations, AJ Ayala. You are, you win the local final, and I think he ended up winning the Player of the Year or something as a result of that. All because I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to end up getting bumped or something.
Right. And
also, speaking of which, by the way, AJ, shout out to AJ Ayala, who's expecting a baby.
Nice.
There we go.
So
Nice.
Old school ABT guy there. So
absolutely, one of the OGs for sure.
Congrats to the Ayala family.
No, absolutely. Well, it's just interesting, and it's one of those things like we just don't think that anybody should be put in that position. You know what I mean? You play all
Yeah,
year.
no.
And you're
Look,
not.
the idea is here we want the best players to play and we want them to win and have incentive to keep winning. But we also don't want to discourage the rest of the field by allowing somebody to just be able to run away with it. So there's two different problems that we're trying to solve here. And there's multiple ways that we're trying to address it. This is just one more tool in the tool belt that we're implementing to try to make it again, desirable and incentivized for everybody to continue to play all the way through nationals.
I'll answer this question for Jody. He doesn't. That's the answer.
Yeah. My game is very, very dull. Very dull. Although I could hit more shots on the monitor in the assessment than Fegley could. So.
Right.
Yep.
So I'll answer. I don't know how this is going to show
Shaping
up.
shots is not a problem, particularly the left to right variety.
Yes.
Sorry, Jason. I will answer your question. I can't put it all on the screen because it was too much. It only showed 3 lines. But he's talking about expensive majors and it being involved in National Player of the Year. Like, I totally get it, but I will tell you, like, one of the things that we've done intentionally is we've put budget-friendly majors on the schedule. So some of our competition goes to every PGA Tour course imaginable. We rotate through all of them, but we intentionally leave some that aren't. Like Annbriar, for example, is a very affordable weekend. We just got back from Myrtle Beach. It's a very affordable weekend. We try to keep 5 or 6. Bears Best in Atlanta is another one that's really good. Really, really great golf course. And so we certainly throw out some bucket lists like Macklemore. You know what I mean? We certainly don't set the prices for those places. And honestly, if our members didn't request it all the time, we wouldn't go there. It's a big risk for us to put them on the schedule for not enough reward for what we're putting out. But we try to keep some that are going to always be budget friendly. So everybody,
look, to a certain extent, our hands are tied too by the USGA. I mean, there's only so much that we could pay out.
we can't pay
There's
for
limits.
it.
Yeah, there's limits as to what we could do. If we didn't have the amateur status limits that were in place, we could go out and get some sponsors, corporate sponsors, and that threw money into the pot and made it where you could win your money back or more of what you invest to travel and go to these places. But unfortunately, we're amateurs and they don't allow us to do that. And so, to a certain extent, yeah, when you go to these majors, for most of us, I mean, look, there's only going to be one winner in every flight.
Yep.
And one senior net winner, one open. I mean, there's out of a field of 120, 140 to 140 players, there's going to be 6 or 7 players that walk away with a trophy.
Right.
And big money. And the rest of us need to just be going and enjoying the experience and an opportunity to play in some really fantastic places, hopefully with people that we enjoy playing with, and with a tour that we enjoy supporting and helping it to grow and putting our best foot forward whenever we go to these places.
Yeah.
So,
and one of the other things that we've done, I think that'll help this year is in front of a lot of these majors, we're doing 1-day elevated events, and so you can get 2 really good points all combined in the same weekend, which I think has helped a lot. So I know we had a lot of success with that at Omni Homestead. We did it again at Sewelo. We're doing it in between at Reunion, which, by the way, still has 9 spots left as of today. So registration's open for another 10 days. And but at the end of the day, like we're hoping for relief on some of this. We understand that golf is certainly getting more expensive. I mean, we're out booking all these things, so we understand kind of where that is.
And that's the whole thing, right? Like, it is tough, but at the same point in time, that's why the different levels exist, right? We've got the locals, we've got the nationals, and either through time, budget, or other constraints, right? There's all trade-offs that we all have in our lives that maybe it's just not the time that you can compete at the nationals because your work schedule just doesn't allow right? But you at least have you have the local player of the year. That's weekends mostly, and you can go after that in your local events as well. Totally get it. USGA's USGA and the prize limits are the prize limits. But, as Gus pointed out, you can get lucky in a Super Sins contest to help make the weekend a little brighter too.
Yeah. And that's also why in the calculation for National Player of the Year, we limit the number of national majors. So it's not like you can go play 3 or 4 national majors and just stack up these points. It's still, you're only going to get the best scores are going to count, or the best finishes are going to count. So there's a reason that we do that.
Yeah, less than 20% of the National Player of the Year is calculated on majors. So
and it's why we also require that your local finals are included in that calculation. So because again, we want you to play locally, and we want you to have an opportunity to win your local championship.
Yeah, and the other thing to know, if you can only play 1 major or 2 majors, missing a major isn't going to preclude you from being competitive in National Player of the Year. The local finals are the most points you can earn. The North American Championships the most points, and the majors from a point standpoint are worth the same as an elevated event. So if you do really well at 2 elevated events in your local chapter, if you're missing one of those, there's 10 locals now, and so that's a big change for this year, because before it was almost 50% of your scores counting were majors. Now it's less than 20. So we have made that change to make it more competitive, give more people opportunity. And I will tell you, the Nationals at Weekapaw and Greyhawk this year are going to be really special in Scottsdale. The best golf we've ever had for a national championship.
And I think Coach Ches hit the nail on the head. If money is an issue for you at these majors, just pick the ones that have casinos and follow Regal to the back rack table and do whatever he does, and you'll probably end up paying for your weekend.
Or you'll be really in the hole and
yeah.
Follow Fegley to the sport.
Can we put this? We are not here to give financial advice. I assure you, that was not.
If you have a gambling problem, call 1-900-INDIANA.
Yeah, exactly.
So we got a few minutes for any questions. If you had a question earlier we didn't get to, if you want to ping it again in the chat, I know there's been a lot of chat tonight we've been watching. We'd love to answer. This is probably our last Thursday Night 9 for the year. Next Thursday is Christmas, and I love you all. I have a almost 2-year-old at home, and I will not be doing this on Christmas Day. I would get killed. So.
If we do something next week, it will not be on Christmas. That's
no.
Maybe Fegley and I will do a playoff Saturday or something.
Exactly.
We'll give live prop bets during the playoffs.
That could be fun.
Take the under. It's no fun.
And we can always have a year-end wrap-up live show where we get to add to Matt Minder's top 10. 35, whatever, how many courses are in his top 10 now.
All I got to say, the course of my top 10 are going away because I'm forgetting them because I don't play golf anymore. But
fair.
Clark wants to know, will assessment possibly demote players that don't belong in the division they're in? So here's where we're at on this, guys. We sent a survey of questions that were written by our potential partner. They wanted to see interest levels, which certainly exceeded the expectations. Jody, I don't want to take a shot at you, but I was off by about as much as the pollsters were off in your race on the response. So there's that.
Fair enough.
So we'll take it back to them. I know they're really excited. We're excited to work with them. I will tell you, there has never been – this is my pre-year-end wrap-up since you're making fun of me. There's never been a more exciting time to be part of the APT. The opportunities in front of us are legendary. It's going to be a really fun ride over the next 24 months. So, Jody, you and I have been working on some things. Excited to roll roll some of these opportunities out in the coming months, and it's going to be great. It's never been a better time to be an APT member, and we appreciate y'all taking the ride with us.
Yeah, I'm not in Congress, so I'll actually be able to show up to a few golf tournaments now.
Right.
Oh,
So I got that going for me, which is nice.
yep.
So
Which honestly, going to Congress and standing on the first tee watching a bunch of you hacks hit balls is about the same thing.
right. So I've got some questions to answer. John, unfortunately, no. System only lets you do one local tour. Don't cheat on me with Dallas. Let's see what else we got. Need a major in Ohio. Interesting you say that, Jason, as we work towards the major schedule in 2027.
Yes. Ohio.
Interesting you say that. I may have had some conversations. And Rich wants to know, can we have more Chris Isom appearances? I know Chris has at least one more, so stay tuned.
Chris,
It is
blink twice if you need help. On the fourth day of Christmas.
You know what the funny thing is? That's one of the most engaging posts we've ever put out because so many people were just roasting him.
It's like Otis does golf commercials.
Yep. Dude, that's the beauty of the internet content these days. Sometimes the real ones are the ones that, Yes, I really don't want to do this, but they're making me. So here you go.
By the way, I forgot, Jody. We do have to do one more live before the end of the year. It'll have to be a special one because we have a new chapter to announce.
Yeah. So I mean, is it a New Year's Day special?
It might have to be
Special edition.
That'd be kind of ironic because this person's football team missed out on the college football playoff by losing to their rival.
Wah, wah, wah.
So there we go.
And no, Rodney, you will not be seeing any LSU shit.
Chris, you gotta put the explicit on this one for the podcast.
That I can guarantee you.
We made it an hour and 10 minutes without swearing. Yeah, you had to comment about LSU.
Hey, it's tough.
That's right.
That's pretty funny.
Hey,
I know that
circle that game next year in Oxford. It's gonna be lit. Gonna be lit.
Yeah, it's
There
gonna
might be some feisty fans.
If you thought mustard bottles and golf balls in Neyland Stadium were a thing, whew, it's gonna be bad.
Oh man.
I just hope our new chapter owner didn't quit for that comment
Good job, Matt. Way to go.
on the first day.
On the first day.
Arkansas State's already up 7-0 on Missouri State.
Hey, there we go.
Chris Yugi said that I may not be able to make the New Year's Day live.
Oh,
Do you see McSpanky's?
yes, we do need to give Mr. Toe a shout out.
I'll tell you what we'll do on our January 1st special edition live show. We'll all dress up like a different version of Alderucci.
That'd be awesome.
I can dig one of those shirts out of my closet somewhere.
All I have to say is I'm not wearing any UConn stuff. I can't bring myself to do it. I love you, Christian. Don't ship me any of your stuff for this live. I'm not wearing UConn stuff. It's not going to happen.
I'll borrow some joggers and some Jordan high tops from somebody.
Hey, there we go.
You've got the Jordan high tops. Like, don't even lie. They're in your closet. I've
I
seen
do
it.
not own any Jordan high tops.
So he's about to, though. Now you have your excuse.
I was born before the year 2000, so I don't feel like it's appropriate for me to wear Jordan high tops.
But in all seriousness, we do wish a speedy recovery to our friend Christian.
I
hope he's not watching from like, the hospital room.
I'm surprised we're not getting a painkiller comment.
It'll be
Heck,
really
after my last broad jump, I thought I was going to have to go to surgery with him.
Yes.
I did hit 6'4" in my broad jump though, guys. So
Yep.
I got that going for me.
His
Don't
knees
don't be fooled by this 52-year-old fat guy.
That's pretty funny. Goodness gracious. Coming full circle. For
Full
sure.
circle.
But anyways, appreciate you guys. Merry Christmas to everybody. We'll be back. Probably, I think it's a good plan, New Year's Day.
Yeah, we got a lot. We'll have a lot to talk about. We can also do like a little year in review too, and there's plenty of things we can go back all the way back to January in Florida and bring it forward. So,
can we talk about the housing situation in Texas?
There's so much material from Texas. So much material.
Oh goodness, we could have some fun. Like the book. The book
we got chapter owners sleeping on the job, and there's so much we can talk about. So much.
That wasn't this year. That was last year.
Was it last year?
It was North American Championship. Yeah, because
it was.
Buzz just reposted the picture with the squirrel on his shoulder.
It doesn't matter. It's such a good picture.
I need to Buzz. I might have to send you a couple pictures so we could pull the minor example for the assessment that we're thinking of.
Hey, we can get Chris to do a little video in memoriam, like all the chapter owners and members that are no longer with us.
Oh gosh,
that would be hilarious.
Chris says we need a paywall for that one. Some jokes.
Well, hey, if anybody happens to hit the Powerball on Saturday, I can carry your clubs.
What was it, 1.2 or something like that?
1.5 billion.
I'll take 1%.
Yeah.
I think I'm just gonna have to go like play the Powerball for the first time in my life. So if I will win, I'm like, yeah, I spent $20.
You and everybody else in this.
You and everybody else trying to get those magic numbers.
It'll be good. So, anyways, we're signing off now. I'm surprised Chris hasn't shut it off yet. So, anyways, Merry Christmas to you guys. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Enjoy some time with your family. If you're playing this weekend, there are a couple tournaments, some good spots. So play well.
Have fun.
Get there.
Get there.
Get there.
Get there. Those two words are said by golfers all over the world as a sign of respect, a whisper of encouragement, a roar of support. It's what we say to our competitors, our loved ones, our heroes. It's what we say to ourselves.
Get there.
At Worldwide Golf, we're like you. We strive to improve our game, to elevate our standards, and transcend our limits. Our commitment is to the journey, to the tradition, and to the spirit of golf that unites us all. Since 1963, Worldwide Golf has been there to supply golfers with the equipment and apparel they need to drive their journeys forward. With over 100 retail locations spread across 10 retail brands and the best golf e-commerce websites, we have exactly what every golfer needs for however they choose to play. All of this done to help golfers who want to be their best get there. We are golfers, and we're here for golfers. We built a brand around evolving the game and having what you need to play your way, and it shows in every product we offer and every experience we provide. Our goal is singular, to help you get there. Though the game may change, our mission remains: to stand beside you, to grow with you, to celebrate every victory and learn from every shot.